Welcome to the Lift and Glow Fitness Podcast, the health and fitness podcast for women who want to look great and feel great for good. Whether your goal is to lose weight, build muscle, or you just want to be the healthiest version of yourself, the advice that we share here is going to help you do that by building habits that stick without sucking the fun out of your life. Before we get stuck in today's episode, please make sure to hit subscribe so that you don't miss any future episodes from us. So, what is the best form of cardio for weight loss? We are probably asked this every single week, or whenever we get a new client. It's something that people are wanting to know. But I think that people are going to be surprised by what we say, because it's not what most people think. So what do you think people think is the best form of cardio for weight loss? If they want to lose weight, quickly or effectively, what do you think that they're going to try and do for cardio?
HIIT classes.
Yeah, and running.
Spin.
Anything sweaty, really.
Yeah.
I think people think they're going to sweat like the fat away.
Well, it's like
literally that's
I
exactly.
actually seen something on Instagram today and it was like, sweating is not sweating the fat away.
Yeah.
That is incorrect.
Well, it's like,
I'm not gonna lie, I used to think that though.
well,
I
people
did.
wear like bin bags and shit to the gym, don't they, to make them sweat more? Or like I remember you say to people like, "Why have you got so many layers on?" "Oh, I'm sweating it all out." I was like,
Yeah.
"No,
Yeah,
that doesn't
water.
work." Yeah,
That's what it mainly
you
is.
just dehydrate yourself. Hun.
Yeah.
We've had it wasn't that long ago actually that we had a client come to the gym in loads of layers. I can't remember who it was, but I wouldn't name them anyway. But and I was like, "What's going on? Like, why are you in like long sleeves and a hoodie?" "Oh, well, I just need to like sweat it all out. It'll make me lose weight quicker." I'm like, no.
If only it was that easy.
And then, do you know what? And that was my response. I was like, well, let's all just move to the Caribbean.
Yeah.
And we'll all just lose weight just being alive.
Just sunbathe and lose weight. Great.
Yeah. Wonderful.
You know what?
On the
I
beach.
wish I would have thought of that ages ago because like the amount of holidays we have.
I know, yeah.
We probably
I
would
know.
be, well, we'd all be like
Yeah,
that, wouldn't we?
everyone,
Yeah.
like, that's all you do. If you want to lose weight, you go on holiday, not like lose weight before the
Yeah.
holiday. Yeah, it makes no sense, the sweating. But I definitely know why people think that, because I used to think it, and it's just like, remember like sweat is fat crying? That
Yes.
was a
Yeah.
thing, wasn't it? So maybe it's come from that.
Yeah.
Or maybe like sweat is perceived as hard work, and so you think if you're sweating that must mean that you're working harder.
Yeah.
But like obviously we know that some people sweat loads and some people don't sweat at all. Like, but it doesn't mean
Yeah.
that they're
Big
working
words,
hard
yeah.
or not hard. Like some people sweat just like hoovering the house, others don't sweat when they're doing like an intense exercise.
Yeah.
Like it just
I definitely used to think like if I came away more dying and more sweaty from a workout, that I'd burn more calories and I
Yeah.
worked harder and I'd progress more, but it's absolutely bollocks. Isn't
same.
it?
If I didn't feel sweaty enough after a workout, I'd do sprints or like
Yeah.
100 burpees to finish.
Or the Stairmaster, 1,000 steps to
Stairmaster.
finish.
Or that is one way to get sweaty.
Yeah. I do actually really like it though in a weird way.
Yeah,
But
no, I do like the Stairmaster.
I just walk up the stairs and I'm sweating, to be honest.
Yeah, but even like training in hot rooms, like I know people
Yeah.
like to do it, and I did it. Like I did do it for a good while, and I used to do like back-to-back classes, and I was like, yeah, because I'm getting really sweaty and it's in a hot room, I'm burning way more fat. But I
The
wasn't.
reason
no.
I like training in a hot room sometimes is just purely for the fact I feel more relaxed before I'm starting.
Yes.
I feel like I'm ready to go quicker.
It's hard
Yeah.
to
You know what I
get
mean?
warmer.
Yeah.
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 Well, I put the heating on in the gym. If I'm
Yeah.
on my own, well, even when there's girls in the gym in the winter, I put the heating on while we're getting warm, and then they're all like, oh, turn it on.
Yeah.
Turn it off. Aircon, please.
Yeah.
But that's not for any other reason than it's easier to get moving when you're warm.
Yeah.
And then the other things that you mentioned, HIIT and running, obviously people think that they burn loads of calories because your heart rate is high.
Yeah.
You push yourself more. But then obviously like when you're doing HIIT and when you're doing running and like you're doing high intensity, then obviously you end up hungry and you end up eating more as well, don't you? So it's like
Yeah.
a catch-22. But just because your heart rate's high doesn't mean you're actually... I think a lot of people get fixated on the watch as well, don't they? So obviously if you do a strength session compared to a spin session, your watch can say you've done more calories because your heart rate's gone higher for a longer length of time. But that's a load of bollocks as well, isn't it? Like your watch doesn't really mean anything.
No, your watch doesn't actually know how many calories you've burned.
No.
It's just a made up number based off the information that you've give it. But you'd have to go into a lab with like masks on and like monitors all over you for them to know, for them to even like closely estimate how many calories you're burning. And it's just meant to be a tool, a guide. I think the watches are only useful for counting steps.
Yeah, literally.
Like you shouldn't really be recording. I record my runs on my watch,
Yeah, runs,
obviously, because it's distance and I like to see my cadence and my pace. But I did a run before. I have no idea how many calories it says I burned because I just ignore it.
But then loads of people get fixated on the watch as well because the amount of clients you've had and they'll be like, oh, I only burnt like 200 calories today. And I'm like, if you're that bothered about what it's saying, then stop
recording
using
it.
it. Like, don't use it if it's going to make you feel bad for a workout. There's no bad workout.
No.
You've just come in and smashed it.
Yeah. And we should be tracking the weights that we lift, not the calories that we burn, because the weights that we lift is actually like a tangible, accurate thing that we can measure. I was going to say measure is the word. Whereas the calories, it's just made up. And like, I think you can get really frustrated as well, because you could train with someone next to you and they've burnt 600 and you've burnt 200 and it's like, I definitely worked harder than them. It's like, yeah, but you're a very different person to them. And it's like,
that's why he's hating lockdown, like training with Pete all the time. And like, we do the exact same workout and his mum's like conservatory with the ski erg and whatever, like CrossFit vibes, and he'd burnt like 500 calories more than me. And I was like, so fucking, obviously I knew, but it's still annoying. Like, it is frustrating.
It just makes it's just something that you shouldn't need to spend your energy on. So in terms of the best form of cardio for weight loss, what do you think it is?
Walking.
You know
Get
what?
your steps in.
Yeah, I just think it's so underrated. Walking is the most underrated form of exercise. Like, it requires zero skill. Anybody can walk anywhere. Like, it requires zero skill. So like, if you're thinking that you need to run for cardio, you need to then remember that you've got to have a certain technique for running. You can't just like go out and start running 5Ks. You're gonna end up with all sorts of injuries. Whereas if you focus on doing your steps and you focus on going for a walk each day, it's minimal impact, minimal risk of injury, and you're very rarely going to get injured going for a walk unless you like
fall over,
fall off a curb, which Fran does all the time. By the way, it's really weird.
It's so easy to do that.
He does it all the time.
Is he on his phone when he walks out?
No, so it's really weird because when me and him walk down the road, so I'm the poo police. When I was a kid, I stood in dog poo and I'm traumatized from it. I feel like I've never stood in dog poo since. I cannot handle, like, it's just this. So I always just look down. I don't get how people stand in dog poo. How are you not looking where you're going? But he doesn't look at the floor. He like looks like ahead. He's looking round at stuff or looking at me while we're talking and just falls off. Just falls off. Yeah, and it's always
like
in the
daydreaming,
same.
looking at everything.
Yeah, it's always in the same spot. It's really weird. I'm like, I just don't know how you do that. I never do that. I'm always looking where I'm going. But yeah, so unless you fall off a curb, then you're not gonna like injure yourself. So, and it's like anybody can do it. You know, if you're somebody who is, I don't know, say that you've got a lot of weight to lose and you're feeling like, and you know, you're overweight, it's probably not good for your joints that you do go and start running.
No.
But if you're walking, it's a really easy way for you to get out and get moving and expend extra energy.
Yeah.
It's also very free. And I know like people say, well, running's free as well. But I feel like in order to run safely, like you've got to buy the gear. Like you can't just run in bloody like flip-flops, for example.
Oh my God, that's just nearly been a spit take.
You can't run in Bips. You can't run in Birkenstocks, but you can go on a walk in them.
Imagine the arches of your feet.
Ouch. But yeah, but like obviously you don't have to buy like walking leggings and walking shoes and stuff. Like
you can just
it's very
go in
minimal
pretty much
effort.
any shoes. Yeah. Like you can always go for a walk, can't you?
Yeah.
And I just think it's like an easy thing to add to your day as well.
Yeah.
So like there's so many easy ways that it doesn't have to be you go for an hour walk.
Or like
it's
power walk or anything.
Yeah, it's something like, so when you go for a run, you have to set intentional time for you to go for a half-hour run. But if we just focus on walking, that could be 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, 15 minutes here. And the accumulation of all those small little efforts will add up to more energy expenditure than that 1.5 hour run.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, you can do loads of like things while you are walking. Like when you're in work, you can ring someone.
Take
you can take
meetings.
calls, like take Zoom calls or whatever as you're walking.
Even like people who get walking pads, they're on a meeting. On a walking pad, you couldn't run while you're on a meeting.
Yeah.
No.
I've got
People would
clients who,
think
like,
it was pretty strange.
I've got an online client who really struggles to get her steps in because she is very much like glued to her desk during the day in work, and she does struggle to get out for a lunch break. So she like watches Netflix of a night just like on a walking pad just to like get some steps in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What's a walking pad?
Oh, just like
a mini treadmill.
it's just like a little treadmill.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, that people have at home, and
Where have you been?
it's a very 2025 thing.
Is
the
it?
walking pad,
I'm not there yet.
Yeah, it is.
Just like a little pad on the floor that just moves.
And it like goes under your couch, you know,
Oh,
like,
really?
yeah, it's not like a full on treadmill, it's just like a little.
Yeah.
I
Good
know what
invention,
it
like,
is.
but-
I know what it is now.
I've never actually seen one in real life, right? And I keep thinking to myself, how do people not fall off them?
They haven't got a hold, like they'll just
Yeah.
a pad on.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Some of them do.
I feel like I mean, I know I never fall off curbs, but
Yeah.
I feel like I'd fall off.
It's like those things in the airport when they're moving. It'd be like that, wouldn't it? Because I just feel like I'm wobbly on that.
Do you?
Yeah.
I love them.
Like zoom.
When you walk
Them.
on a
When you-
escalator
when
and you
you're
go really
overtaking,
fast, you're like,
bye bitches.
They irritate me though. They get so full, and then you just see other people
I hate it
zooming
when
past
people.
them. I'm like,
I hate it when people stand still on them. I'm like, that's not the purpose of
Yeah,
these.
this
The
is to
purpose
make you
is to go
move faster.
faster.
Yeah.
Move.
move, please.
Yeah.
We digress.
No, we did digress. So what we were saying? Oh yeah, so you can do more things while walking.
Yeah.
Even things like, so if I've had a busy day and I've got loads of WhatsApp messages to get back to, I'll like do all my voice notes while I'm going for a walk with the dog. You could get back to messages. There's literally like,
Yeah.
you could listen to the audiobook. You could, I feel like when you're running, those types of things,
You
can't
can't
do.
do that. You can't text while you're running.
no, and you can't voice note.
No.
Like,
I've tried that
or
once.
even like ringing and catching up. Like I'm reading that, I'm listening to that 101 essays by Brianna. Oh, I can't remember her name now. Anyway, and in it said, ring your mum. Like one of the things was like, ring your mum. And I was thinking, couldn't ring my mum if I was on a run, but you can
No,
on a walk.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like when it's something that you can do something else while doing it. You can
Yeah.
use your time better.
Yeah, wisely. I was gonna say also like just getting outside is really good, isn't it? For like this is where like I always preach to clients like people say to me, do we need to get a walking pad? And obviously that client I said before has got one because she really struggles to get outside.
Yeah.
But if you can get outside, like prioritise the pavement over a walking pad
Yeah.
because you obviously like it's so good for your mental health, getting like the fresh air, vitamin D, everything, like boosting your endorphins
Yeah.
and everything.
Yeah.
And I find like if I've had a really stressful day in work or say when you're back to back with check-ins and as you say, like a croissant at your desk, like just getting outside with no headphones in and just walking. Like obviously we were saying that you can do loads of stuff on a walk.
Yeah, but it's good for your
I do
brain.
also like
Yeah.
a nothing walk, just me and the dog, and I don't talk to anyone or anything else. And it's just
Yeah.
nice just to switch off.
It's like a form of like mindfulness, I think,
Yeah.
when you
Yeah.
go for a walk without like your headphones or anything.
Yeah,
And
just
you
like empties your brain,
looking
doesn't
at-
it?
therapeutic, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
just looking at, taking in your surroundings.
Yeah.
It's definitely a way to come down after a stressful day,
Yeah.
I think. So you can be productive with it or you can use it as like a restorative thing too.
Yeah.
So when you get a client and you're programming for them, would you allocate like any specific cardio or is that it, walking?
No, well, I'll put cardio towards the end of like the workout
Just
and stuff.
little
like,
heart raises.
Yeah, just to
Yeah.
lift the heart rate.
But not
up,
like a full hour.
But not like a full hour of
Yeah.
cardio.
Because even like these like physique competitors, you know, like bodybuilders and stuff like that, they do have like allocated cardio in their
Yeah.
programs,
Yeah.
but it's always walking. Like
Yeah.
it's literally walking on a treadmill, walking outside
Or
because it's the
stepper,
most,
the same
yeah,
thing, yeah.
because it's the most like low impact. You can still get good recovery.
Yeah.
You don't have to spend days recovering from it. It's not going to impact your workout. So if you went for a big walk today, you could still train legs tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know, and if you train legs tomorrow, you'd still be able to go for a walk the next day. Whereas getting going for a run or even the stepper when you got sore legs is a
Yeah.
bit harder.
Kills you off, yeah.
So it's just, we don't need to like add in like HIIT, running, any of these things, spinning. If you want to do them, I think,
Yeah, like
And
if
you
you
enjoy
enjoy it, yeah.
yeah, if it's something you
Yeah.
enjoy, but it's not required for weight loss.
No.
Because I think people who especially like who are new to like their health and fitness journey or like they want to start losing fat or whatever, I think like people just think like, oh, I need to do 3 or 4 HIIT classes a week or I need to do
Yeah.
3 or 4 spins a week, but you don't, you can bring it back
Yeah.
down.
Well, what if they've got 3 workouts a week? So say like if somebody wants to lose weight and they've only got 3 hours a week. So aside from the walks, we've said that's the best form of cardio. What should they be doing in the gym?
Just lift weights. Just fucking lift weights.
Just lift weights.
Haley Bell's
So to be
2025.
fair, like the most efficient way to lose weight is to eat in a calorie deficit, lift weights, so strength train,
Yeah.
and do walks.
Yeah.
Like that is the combination.
Yeah.
Obviously, sleep
Yeah.
and all of the other stuff, but like that is the combo that you need. It's not like running, HIIT, spin, high rocks. Like it's not all of those like intense
Yeah.
things. Like I mean, strength training is intense when you do it properly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's
But not to that level. Like, yeah,
it's
it's different,
the
isn't it?
combination of lifting weights, being in a calorie deficit, and doing your steps. That's like the perfect mix of it all. It's going to improve your
Yeah.
heart health. It's going to help you lose weight, tone up. what about things like, I also think like managing your appetite, that's a big thing that we talk about a lot with clients who are trying to lose weight. So like your daily walk isn't going to massively affect your appetite in the same way as like a really intense
big run.
cardio session. Yeah.
Because obviously, if you're trying to stick to a calorie deficit, but if you're doing high intensity cardio, like doesn't matter what it is, hits, running, spinning, whatever, your body's going to crave that extra fuel, isn't it? So it's going to be harder to stick to your deficit. Whereas low impact and low intensity walking like isn't going to make you want to crave sugar when you get home or whatever, the same way someone else would.
I've just thought of another productive way to get steps in.
Ooh.
So I like tidying your house.
Oh my God, yeah, when you clean the house, you're sweating and you get so many steps in, don't you?
Yeah.
I've like committed to living in a tidy space this year. Like I don't feel good when things are chaotic.
No.
So I'm like, but you get activity in by folding your washing, putting your washing away, by like doing the hoovering, like you just those little things, but also they make you feel good in the space that you're living in.
Well, that was literally my story today.
Was it?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. I haven't been on
Yeah.
Instagram.
Well, I got up and then got out, went downstairs, got all my hoovering done, mopping, cleaned the kitchen, put the washing away.
That is the
best feeling
best
ever.
feeling.
I come out and I was just like smiling. I was like, isn't life just better when everything's clean?
Tidy space. Is it tidy space, tidy mind?
Yeah, it does make a big difference. Like I'm happy that I've got my office because I can shut the door on any mess. But as soon as I walk out of it, I'm like, oh, I just feel like already suffocated.
And you don't want to finish work in your office and then walk out and go, oh, for God's sake. Like you want it to be like relaxing time, don't you?
Yeah.
I need to be more like you. I need to commit to a tidy space because
no, it's not
I've got
easy.
clutter everywhere in our house.
But I feel like for the last however many years, I've lived in clutter. I feel like this year I'm like, no, this is the thing now. One of the things that you're going to work on is like not letting it. I say that I had a mountain of clothes on my floor.
We do that, which is like,
last week.
Sometimes come Friday, like we'll have added to it, Monday we choose to it, and like by the end of the week it's so big. I'm like, I just put it away at the beginning of the week.
I'm all right at doing washing.
Yeah.
It's the putting it away.
Yeah, I hate it.
Folding it and putting it away.
Yeah.
Pairing socks. Why?
Oh no. I got sweaty Betty. I was like a tongue twister. Sweaty Betty socks for Christmas. But like I can't find a matching pair. They're all like the Sweaty Betty signs on the same size on all of them. Do you know what I mean?
They've got little L&Rs on.
Have they?
Learn something new every day. The Nike ones do as well, don't
Yeah.
they? Well, I
all
had
running socks do.
Man, I like that with my Nike though. Like I got given a pair of socks, but they were like all a bit the same colour. Like they were all neutrals. So I'm like having to put them up into the window every 5 seconds to see
Which one do you match?
which ones match.
Here's a random question. Have you ever done a clothes wash and not had a spare random sock at the end?
Yeah.
No, I mean...
What are you saying?
Maybe it was the way that I asked the question. Have you ever done a wash and ended up with no spare socks at the end?
No. I've always
You've
got
always
random
got
ones.
spare socks left, or do you always?
We've lost her.
Like you've always got one spare sock like that hasn't got a mate.
Yeah, that happens
Today.
every single time, no matter like how I get everything and put it in piles. I'm like, why is there always at least one? There's normally more, but why is there always?
I bin it sometimes.
Where do those spare socks go?
I need to do that with like all my like sock, knicker drawer, gym drawer, just like bin
Empty.
stuff that I don't wear because it's exploding. Literally, my drawers aren't even shut anymore.
Yeah, I do need to clear
And
out.
that is not
There we
having
go.
my
That's
tidy
the way
mind.
to get some activity into a big clear out.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah. So if the weather's bad,
Yeah,
we can do clear out.
do some gardening in the spring.
So yeah, I think walking is massively underrated, and not just walking outside, but like general activity day to day. So parking further away when you go to the Asda, park at the back of the car park instead of at the front. Like I always remember when I was younger, I'd always want to be at the closest space, and my mum couldn't be bothered with like all that. She'd just park further away, and I'd be like, this is so annoying. And then I'm thinking that was like so sensible because we get
Get
more
more moving in,
activity.
steps in.
Or like when you go to the train station, you don't need to park the closest one, go the furthest one.
Or can you walk to the station?
Can you walk
Yeah.
the station? Can you walk the bus stop? Do you need to get a lift to the bus stop or the
One
street
thing
or the station?
No, you
I
can
like-
walk like me.
Yeah, Charlie walks the bus stop.
Everywhere. One thing I never do, if there's an option to, is take an escalator. I'll always get stairs.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I'm the same.
Yeah.
I kind of avoid escalators
Yeah.
at every opportunity.
And I feel like
I feel
whenever-
like people on them do my head in though, because
Yeah.
again they stand still on them, and it's okay if you can't walk upstairs. Like I'm not being.
In London at the
Prejudice
weekend on the
against-
tube though, I don't walk up them because I'm like holding on for dear life in my suitcase.
That's a bit far.
Oh yeah,
I know.
Because they're
I
like so fucking big.
they're really
I
big.
do
And
stand
if you've
on
got
them.
a suitcase, if
Yeah.
you've got a suitcase. Oh no, I would walk up them if I didn't have a suitcase.
Yeah, if I
But
have
it's
a
a
suitcase.
hazard if you've got a suitcase.
Still a bit scary though in London. They're so big.
Yeah,
like the
they
Primark
are.
Liverpool ones as well, they're massive.
I honestly, but there are always people walking up, so I just get involved in that.
Yeah, true.
I like
Yeah.
that, like,
Follow the pace.
yeah.
No.
Or, you know, them stations where it's like 400 steps up to such and such. I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
challenge accepted.
How long will it take me?
Get to the top, absolutely sweating. Even things like in London, like getting off at if do you really need to get the tube if it's a 15-minute walk? Could you?
I would so much rather walk around London than get the tube. We did that at
Yeah.
the weekend. Like whenever me and Peter there, we'll always like city mapper it, and then we'll get off like 2 stations earlier and just
Yeah.
like wander through. And obviously,
Yeah.
we've got time.
Isn't it mad when you're on holiday? I don't know if you're like this. People might think that we're a bit crazy, but if you're on holiday and you're like, oh, it's an hour walk, you're like, yeah, go ahead. Well,
Yeah.
And you just walk
Like, that's
for an
not
hour.
that far.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we were like that in New York, and we got off at one of the what are they called over there?
Subway.
Yeah.
Metro.
And we got off and we were like, oh, let's walk here. And I was like to Michael, oh my god, no, let's get on the subway again. And he was like, no, it's like literally like 40 minutes, and you just talk and walk and like
you
looking
see
at
stuff,
everything.
You get
It's
to experience.
yeah,
it.
we didn't get on the subway once after that.
Yeah.
Like we just walked everywhere.
Yeah, you do some walking in New York, like
Yeah.
any city,
Probably
like
'cause it's
even
done with it,
Rome.
but-
Like
Yeah.
we didn't do any public transport, and I think we got one taxi the whole time. Actually, I think we only got taxis to and from the airport.
Yeah.
And we just like, 40 minutes, go ahead. We were walking over to the Vatican and then all the way back, and I
Yeah.
just think like that's a way to make a holiday where you're obviously going to eat and drink more. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm not going to like diet while I'm in Rome. Like there's all of the pasta
That'd
and the
be a very
pizza that I
sad
could
time in
possibly
Rome.
eat.
Well, one of
Yeah.
one of my clients actually said that to me the other day. They said, like, what can I do like to make me trip better for me? And I'm
Yeah.
like, nothing. Like you don't need to like save calories, all this. Like enjoy yourself. You're gonna be walking
Yeah.
that much anyway. That came up.
Yeah.
So yeah, she had a ball and she did walk everywhere and she still ate loads of pizza and
Yeah,
pasta.
I do feel like you'd experience it better, and then it just makes your energy better anyway
Yeah.
because you are going to be eating and drinking.
Yeah.
So I think walking is massively underrated. It's easy for everyone to do. It takes no like investment of money. It doesn't take that much time to do, especially if you don't have to go out for a walk like straight like an hour in one go. It can be broke up into
Yeah.
little manageable choices. Even things like going to the toilet on a different floor. When I worked in an office, every time I went to the toilet, I went down to the second floor to go to the toilet. Just that extra little journey adds up and got me
Yeah.
more steps. So we're not saying you need to spend hours walking. It's just an easy way to like add those little bits of movement in.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, and it's good for the mind as well. So
Yeah. It is.
you don't need to beat yourself up with HIIT or spin or running. But likewise, if you want to do those things, do them, but also lift weights.
Yes.
And eat in a calorie deficit.